In this video here, installments part 6, to begin, to give due, glory, praises, thanks, and appreciation unto Yahweh, the Father who's in heaven, for he alone is worthy. By him, his people are able to stand, endure, and overcome, and through him, all things are possible to those who believe. Second piece here, fair use, fair dealing, public dominion. That's right, public dominion. All rights mentioned and not mentioned, as well as declared and not declared, and every gray area, inroad, backdoor, and whatsoever point anyone would seek to gainsay off of this, and so forth, and any other areas as well too, proceeding forth especially. Now to begin the sixth part here, that it may perhaps conclude the series here of this investigation, it's been clearly made known that at the beginning here, these three individuals, Ringo Rollo Brainwaves, otherwise known as Donald Ringo for his YouTube alias. Then you have Lester, who is known as Karatasar on Born Again Israelites YouTube channel. Then Mark the Messenger, as well as Charles L. Jr. And recently it's been brought to my attention as a reminder. So, New Breed, he still has to listen to these videos. Reach out to Pastor Rufus, get it right, and get clear. As much as these three right here, as well as Lester, point the finger at New Breed, what about them? As of yesterday, a video has been put out by Rollo that shows that as much as they like to say that New Breed does this and does that, you can look at Rollo's face in the car. We might get to that. And then go to where we should be heading off onto. You can clearly tell he was demonically charged. He had some criminal intentions in mind. So these three in particular, and those others, Lester, Mark the Messenger, Charles L. Jr., they're too close. They behave too much alike. And as much as they like to accuse New Breed, they're not trying to help. They really are not trying to help him get right. They are trying to bury him. They are trying to hide their own dirt. And they're trying to discredit him too. It's all sloppy, but you really have to pay attention to catch any facts and then point out the red flags there too. That way you don't get caught up in the dissimulation. And he said, they said, and so forth. And this is 2025. We are supposed to have the knowledge of many things. And you have these new age teachers out here not even coming close to living the scriptures. Not even coming close to living the faith. Even what Jesus taught his disciples. Yet they want to, pull up on the Google search and show a few scriptures here and there and use that so they can flex, to receive the praises and glory from men. That is definitely not the kingdom. And those who do such things, give it some time. If it's already been time, then go search for yourself. You shall find that they have done much evil, just like the scribes and Pharisees. Ringo likes to talk about these religious individuals. He likes to talk about these melanated individuals that are ninjas, that are animals that need to be locked up. What about him? You can look at him. His guilt, that's right, his guilt, his evil, his criminal activity, his wickedness, it's on his face. And he tries to hide it with that mask. That gentle, kind speech and pretense. He tries to pretend just like Charles Love Jr. He's so bad, wants to be like Charles Love Jr. It's disgusting. They all want to be cult leaders. They all want to be like unto Jim Jones. So those of you from the sheriffs, FBI, and whatsoever group of law enforcement and justice enforcement agency and so forth, you need to get involved as soon as possible and reprimand these 6 individuals mentioned. They have a couple of cohorts out there, and they may have some additional cousins. Because here's the thing. It's almost, some people can say by common sense, but their intuition, to the degree of their, shall we say, their understanding of what's good and what's evil. And then there's another area too where those who sit down and either read, learn, or hear from those who speak of the word, who can communicate and make known from what's in the word clearly, it can be revealed that the things that are of the Father in heaven is very simple. It's very clear and straightforward. Where to do good, even to help the disadvantaged, to speak for the dumb, the oppressed, those who cannot speak, those who are, marginalized, ostracized. They don't have a place to stand when it comes to justice in the matter. Especially those who are going to be cheated and maltreated at different points. That's why in tradition of the culture that you read about in this, from Genesis to Revelation, in different areas, as well as other books, and you see in different parts of the world. That's right, you see in the different parts of the world, especially in parts of America as well too. Someone could be a credible witness, even 2, even 3 as well. Just because of preferences, the customs and traditions of men, such witnesses would be discredited, including the attempt to discredit the witness in the, shall we say, the party that's been targeted by 3 of these individuals at least, Ringo, Rollo, and Brainwaves. Because Ringo, Rollo, and Brainwaves working together in their own group and then reaching out to others behind the scenes and discreetly through various means, such as Lester of Born Again Israelites, Karatasar. They, being narcissists, the 6 of them, and others out there like them, as well as having all these other evils in them. See, the ways of the devil is to kill, steal, and destroy. So in them, although they dress up and make it look very nice, very beautiful, it's still a whitewashed tomb, full of uncleanness and dead men's bones, otherwise full of carnality, immaturity, and corruption. That's right, these individuals are corrupt. No matter how smooth, how great and swelling their words are, and how kind and gentle and persuasive they talk to you, they are of their father the devil, who steals, kills, destroys, is a liar, even a murderer from the beginning. That's right, these 6 individuals, to some capacity, you try them, you prove them, you're going to find out they have murder in their heart. If they have not got rid of someone in real life, cut someone off from the land of the living yet, it will eventually come up, one way or another. Or they have some level of involvement of such things. Accomplices. And apparently, Ringo and Brainwaves, Donald and Deson, or Dason, shall we say? There's money to be involved in what they're doing behind the scenes. And because they, being narcissists, having all sorts of evil inside of them, like how Jim Jones was, they have to make themselves look good in front of the sight of men. So what did Jim Jones do again? Oh yeah, that's right, He was very religious. He made people think they were serving the Father who's in heaven. And the whole time, he was hiding his corrupt and criminal ways. The things that those who are actually out of the faith and are in the faith would hate, to hate evil. And those of the world, even those who are well esteemed, especially of position of power, would especially detest learning of their evil doings. And not forgetting the judge of judges himself. Oh, that's right, They have to stand before the judge at the judgment bar. When those books are open, all their evil deeds are revealed before all. There will be no excuse. They can say a bunch of words to deceive you and cast spells on you, like how spells were cast on the Galatians, to deceive them, to allow such high levels of criminal activity and evil be done in front of their sight, and they just stand there and go along with it, or just tolerate it. It's going to be revealed. It's going to be put to open shame. And all others who are criminals or trying to hustle people off the masses, there's more of them getting dealt with accordingly. What was that one man who ran a cult? He had a mansion, him and his wife. They were making big money by the millions off of people because their members were working in sweatshops, working like slaves. Oh, yeah, that's right, Let's talk about that too, Donald, otherwise known as Ringo, of Ringo TV Reactions. He used to have some involvement in the Chosen One community. That counterfeit Chosen One community, where there's criminals and smooth talkers and deceptive people. They'll say all the right things, but the whole time, you let it process, you let it sit, and if you can hear and see properly, you'll realize, hey, wait a minute. Their words are empty. What they're showing before you, it's a front. And a lot of people who've been involved in that stuff, especially those from the faith, it's always good to go back and repent of those things that you've been involved in, including the crooked things and the trespasses, the transgressions you've been involved in. Because these warlocks, those 6 in particular, they are desperate and they are looking to raise up as many numbers as they can possible, especially those from the Chosen One community and those who want to have a form of faith but deny the power thereof, the character the nature, the lifestyle, the results of living and being a new creature, being renewed, no longer being that former person. They can't hide anymore. No matter now how many times they're going to quote the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation, as well as all these other books, such as Sirach and so forth. It's not going to avail them. It's not going to help them at all. In the bigger picture, people shall know them by their fruits, by their character, their nature, their actions, their deeds, what they really mean when they say and when they do. All this pretending, all this smooth talking, all this showing, presenting yourself one way, but being another behind the scenes, that's all going to be, all that deception is eventually going to fail. Because those who choose the way of the devil, it's almost like common sense to some people who've been taught in their youth to choose good because evil will last only so long. The evil is temporary. Even though some may finish their years in evil, the passing over, them going off into the spirit world, to stand before the Father who made all here. He made the world, the heaven, the earth, the waters, and all the things that pertain thereof, even the things that pertains to the involvement and the use of them, of this world. They have to stand before Him, especially when they cross over into the spirit world before His Son returns. It's going to be rough. All those years, that's right, all those years of evil, so they can ramp up their criminal activities and hide it underneath the guise. And some of the worst, as Rinko has spoken of himself, as well as showing these three, as well as the other three, mentioned as well too, in their like cohorts. They're like criminals, they're like accomplices and so forth, and those who work with them behind the scenes, discreetly in the open to such a capacity, and those who they contact with or to through social media, through the smartphones that they have. Perhaps they have private numbers too if they're going to carry more than one phone. Another means to be very sneaky and hide the criminal life. That's right. In the previous part 5 there, Rollo was quote-unquote exposing Mark the messenger, but at the same time he's talking about himself too. Those 6, they have crafty and carefully devised counsels and ideas, as well as inspiration to do evil, to hide their evils. That's why it seems like they're so just, so moral, so good, because they have to present the narrative, they have to write the narrative, they have to program the masses. Just like Jim Jones was programming people, just like all the other cult leaders were programming people. So when they say things, they ain't moving right. Oh, they're broke because they're in sin, and so forth. These individuals, it's very clear. They don't serve our Master, whom the Father sent. The Savior of mankind, that as many as receive and believe, shall be saved, even by the water baptism, and seeking to be baptized with the Ruach HaKodesh, the authentic Holy Spirit. And those of you who speak of such areas like this, Let it be known and made very clear to you as well too. This land that we reside on, even though it's by a certain government in a certain functions and its capacities, and then you have another government trying to act in its stead and trying to usurp its position and hide its doings for what they call it by various names and means and titles and forms of expression, symbolism, characteristic, titles and such. Let it be made known here clear, very straightforward, by the further revealing of information that is coming out in these times of this era. Religion in its many forms is protected in this country, or shall we say country or land, in these borders of the United States of America, of North America. And that's when you consider, the Constitution and the law, the higher laws, the laws that supersede the Constitution, and so forth. Religion, the authentic use of all those temples and gatherings and communication when it's true and genuine of such matters, when it comes to good and evil, that it may be understood what is true good and true evil, even what is true good and true evil, as taught from the scriptures, from Genesis to Revelation, and that others, with their traditions and expressions, may learn these things of morality as well too, of good, of what is good and what is evil, that they may choose the good and do that accordingly. Even what Jesus taught his disciples, so that those who are especially born again may enter into the straight and narrow gate. And when they stand at the judgment, when they stand up there at the resurrection, that they may be ready and looking forward to receiving their reward at the resurrection, that they may enter into the kingdom and enjoy it at this present age, these thousands of years, to try mankind, each soul, so that each is determined where they choose to go to. And when they fall short, that they may have sufficient amount of time to repent and bring forth fruits meet unto repentance. So, all these different denominations and the such, the true belief that all humanity is to come to and realize is the knowledge of what Jesus taught his disciples, so that the generations before them, even the patriarchs from Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and so forth, may learn what is good and what's right, even the things that was preserved from the days of Adam to their time. Even when Melchizedek was around, when Abraham was around two, with their long years of life, with Melchizedek having longer years, and so forth. The law, statutes, commandments given to the congregation on Mount Sinai through Moses is supposed to help teach the people and instruct them on the basics up front first, because plenty of them were not getting it. And it's supposed to instruct them and prepare them so that when they know of the Savior that arrives and is before them, they may know where these laws, statutes, commandments may lead them to. That's right, the Torah that is taught unto the people is supposed to help them prepare to receive the teachings, the lessons from Jesus in the New Testament, so that when they do these things, they're prepared and they break off from the evil ways that they learned from other nations, from other peoples at the times. That's right, at the times where those who were in sin and doing evil, to separate from those ways and choose the good instead. And the people are supposed to also pass on the instruction of what is good and inform people in various places so that they may learn what is good instead and choose good instead, as well as to apply it in their daily life so that their ways may be good and that they be counted prepared as citizens for the kingdom, so that they may go through this life, grow, and if they receive salvation, that is good as well too, for them to be grafted in, so that by the Ruach HaKodesh, the authentic Holy Spirit, the people may be led to resist the low-based nature, the immature ways and the things that is called the flesh, the mind of the flesh, the psychology of the flesh, and such, that old nature. That way, when they do these things and apply it, even the teachings that Jesus taught his disciples, that they may know how to carry themselves in this life, to get it right when they mess up, even to apologize to the Father in heaven when they sin, so that when all is said and done, and they are patient and do these things properly, and patience over these years, however long it may be, they may be ready and may be kind of worthy to enter to his kingdom. So in the kingdom, they may not only enjoy it, but know how to live every day and function in it, so that there is no strife, neither contention, nor evil to be done. And shall we say, some of the laws of the Constitution of America, as well as different points of different constitutions in different countries, there is inspiration based on the law, statutes, that's right, the law, statutes, commandments, where they permit freedom, morality, and the things that are good, and yet, because of traditions and customs, and whoever wants to be in power and serve the devil, they will diminish that to cherry pick the things that are good and cherry pick the things that are evil and only give temporary happiness and pleasure and enjoyment, to insert those in an effort that they may keep and withhold some of their obedience unto the Father who's in heaven, and cause others to do so if they can, thinking this will permit their country to prosper and endure, when in reality they're adding onto and taking away only gives enough opening for their land to be judged by the Father who's in heaven. So even though the country and the land may do good for so many years, even hundreds of years, as soon as it catches up with them, all the immorality, all the evil and such, and they refuse to turn from these things and choose the good, even what's taught through his word from the Father who's in heaven, that he gave unto his Son, who is commonly known as Jesus, that his disciples, as well as anyone else wants to receive his instruction too, may choose the good and also be born again so that they may also turn away from their their formal evils that would have them desire to do criminal things and the like and such. Even things that are hated and detestable, disgusting, and highly disapproved of. And yet, because of the weaknesses, the evils, and unbelief of some out there on the road, such evil and even criminal ways were permitted and allowed to such an extent, and done behind the guise too, especially within different countries, so that those who enjoy the pleasures of criminal activities and the temporary reward, temporary success, and the temporary glory before going off into a great judgment and measure that is built up accordingly, then yeah, you're going to have all these pretenses, all this hypocrisy, and so forth to confuse men on what is good and what is evil, confusing them to the point where things that are actually good are called evil in different lands, and things that are evil are not considered criminal in other lands. And these right here, these 6 individuals, they do criminal things, and in the different lands that you would pick from, they have to hide it because they know their evils will not be openly accepted before men. Oh yeah, by the way, here's a bonus concerning those who may be from the FBI listening to this. Let this be known. What is this matter of division between the FBI and the CIA? Because I have heard the report through the the news reporting, the so-called independent news reporting YouTube channel called Redacted, where they have their streams or their streams/shows, and they showed a Green Beret, a very skilled one, from what I heard was being presented in the video, where the CIA went over there to go stop the FBI's work. And those of us who understand, the context of law to various capacities, and by reason may be informed to realize it may be obvious to tell, the CIA, it's illegal. One of their best, or shall we say, one of their most well-taught disciplines, or so shall we call it, well-taught traits, that is evil and is also criminal too, is different forms of art of lying. That's right. And so that you know that I'm not painting a broad paintbrush here, there are people who are sincerely in different places and different environments, and there are those who love the advantage of evil and criminal activity, and they would choose even to cherry pick what suits their desires, that they may serve themselves and gain advantage, even if it's to help others to such a degree. They would choose to do evil and criminal things one way or another, to cheat, do crime, immorality, and such, in the effort to gain their way, to get the desires satisfied and complete. Now, there are plenty of individuals who can be a bad example percentage, where they will learn the art of lying, being deceptive, how to not only lie in speech, but also lie in the presentation of what's put before you? Don't you hate it when you go to a car lot, or like a auto mall, or a car lot, or at a car dealership? You're just looking around, just taking a look, see what's going on over there. And right there you have it. One of those slick cats who are going to come up to you, one of those slick individuals who are going to try to sell you something that you do not even want nor consider. If they can make you buy it, they'll convince you, persuade you, and try to present it in such a way that they can. Especially those who are trying to sell used cars. Those kind of dealerships too. If they can get you a lousy car just to get it off their lot, get rid of the depreciation, or maximize their dollar on something, whatever they can do, there's plenty of them out there that will cheat you in the art of the deal. That's right. These 6 individuals right here, they may not even, that's right, not all of them may not be CIA. However, they know about these deceptive practices. Makes you wonder, who taught them these practices? Did someone from a certain agency send these 6 individuals? Any of them? Can it be disproven that anyone did not send them from agencies? Because Charles Love Jr. has certainly proclaimed to be from the military. However, he has some of his, he has some of his military history, some of his records not available, hidden, maybe classified. What's really going on here, huh? What's all the secrecy going on here, huh? So Ringo likes to talk about these melanated individuals that are ninjas, that are animals that need to be locked up in cages. Take the same measure they're meting out to others and measure to them. Do they make the cut? Are they falling short? Have they been hypocrites? Have they been projecting? Have they been doing their crime, their criminal activities, putting up a front, and then trying to play this this reverse psychology, this deceptive practice of theirs, where they are really talking about themselves because they are narcissists? Yet when they have people, quote unquote, exposing them, they have little to no rebuttal nor evidence to disprove the claims against them. Now let's proceed. Shout out to Gooden Huggins here, who among others has saved some critical information here. And here's the thing. If it's being recorded and the defendant or the victim has been silent or missing afterwards, makes you wonder what else has been done to these victims. Have they been traumatized enough to keep them quiet through intimidation and such evil and criminal practices? Is there things being done to their minds? Because these individuals, you can look at their behavior and realize not only are they very weird, strange, bizarre, as well as evil in different ways, they are showing criminal behavior and how they conduct themselves and carry themselves. So yeah, if you have a couple of witnesses, victims, and people who have seen or heard things go on, and they're being discredited, especially if they're being discredited for exposing them, and you have these individuals hiding behind their numbers, then that tells you a lot that you need to know about. Someone who wants to hide behind their numbers and can't speak for themselves, nor to disprove, nor bring out any hard evidence, apart from manipulating any information they get. Donald, otherwise known as Ringo, has done that specifically. How so, you may ask? Say, for example, you have a 1 hour video or 1 hour recording, and he's going to cherry pick through that thing. He's going to use the inspiration of his criminal activity, as well as whatever demons that's in him and influencing him, and so forth, as well as his very experienced evil nature, his criminal ways, to work out evil. So that when he takes that 1 hour of recording, he'll present to you an entirely different story by messing up, that's right, tampering up with the evidence. Oh, okay. There we go. See this? Put some extra charges in there, people. Put some extra charges. Get your pencil and get your paper. And take notes. Otherwise, pull out the notepad on your phone, or your tablet, or your computer, whatever device you're using or means to take down notes, and start jotting them down. Tampering with evidence, that's a penal code violation there, a criminal activity. So yeah, if you could take 1 hour and present parts of it, especially 50 minutes of it, down to that level, to manipulate, wrestle, and twist and alter the information to present a completely different narrative, a completely different story that says nothing. You can tell something that's legitimate and something that's phony. Something that is legitimate is where you can take information and point out key details that do actually stick. And then you have the counterfeit, where someone, they just butcher, they tear to pieces and break up the material, the information, and they twist it, they reorganize it, they use their own words to present it in such a way to make you think the sky's not blue, the sky's not the color that you're looking at, it must be something completely different. They are so deceptive, and through their experience of being criminals, they will try to convince you and persuade you that water is not wet. They will try to tell you that's right, they will try to tell you the chair does not exist. Just stop, please. Stop the manipulation. However, they're reprobate. They have useless minds in them from the evil they've been doing. And Donald has said, these animals, they need to be locked up in cages, in prison. And he likes to so-called teach people about some on these topics about, oh, we're living the worst times. Oh, things are so bad. Oh, people are so fake, and this and that, and all this negativity. And then brainwaves, he just goes out there. That's right. The song goes out there. He goes out there to harass people, bully them, try to agitate them, and provoke them. And Rollo, to some capacity, he does some of it too himself. Makes you wonder, these three individuals, as well as their associates, their those who are looking more like their cousins, they want to accuse Newbreed. That's right, they want to accuse Newbreed of Charles Dell Jr. being his cousin. Well, New Breed learns his ways from them. From Ringo, particularly, the son and Rollo got to go over there and go check out UP Farms. And how did it break up so easily? Must be the money. Oh yeah, and what's his name? Donald. Oh, he needs to be number one, numero uno, so bad. He needed to be the chief cult leader of UP Farms. Otherwise, UP Farms will not work because people need to put respect on that name. People need to know that Ringo is the so-called realist. That he's all that in a bag of chips. This way you can't be listening to these narcissists. That's right, these narcissists who are just sporting themselves to their own judgment. Even to the judgment of men. To where they're doing all this criminal activity. And they want you to think that they are moral, good, and upright people, when the whole time they have been deceptive, even using the methods of the CIA to deceive people. So let's start this video here, because here's the thing. If it was just allegations, why are they so concerned? Why are they so startled? Why are they so frightened? Why are they crashing out? Why are they bugging? Why are they losing their ever-loving minds, huh? Huh?
I can call her right here, right now. Not phone number, I'm calling her on Instagram. Hey, Jerry. Hey, are you okay?
I'm okay. I was praying for you guys when I was doing something. I had a phone out that night, but I didn't get all the information. I just prayed for you guys. That was just a dangerous situation.
Now, Jerry, let me slow you down real quick. He told you that we had a falling out that night, correct?
No, he told me early in the morning, like the AM, he called me and told me that things went down, and that he tried to shut down some white guy. And that's what I meant when I said I was the enemy who was trying to stop.
No, okay, now I'm gonna stop you there, because what you just said is more evidence, because he knew that morning that things wasn't right between us, but he waited until I put out a video to even address the situation. That shows guilt on his behalf. And
that might have been my fault. I told him that he shouldn't do any screams about it. Until he said that he had the seats or whatever, that I wasn't there. I said, but especially with Ringo's wife there, that could have been very dangerous. I mean, I know it's a carrying state, not family out there. Yep. That's why we even talked about North Carolina. He's still talking about Orlando and stuff, so I was out there before too. But I only started talking to him recently. I think he is very fast. That's one thing we talked about. I don't like
what's that?
Things fast. Right. You know, he was talking about women always around him and stuff. But you know, I tried to tell him, I'm not that girl.
So he was trying to rush you into something intimate.
Yes. I'm not like that.
Pulse. At the pulse is here. Rollo still does that. The targeted person in particular, as well as Selena from their YouTube channel name, or the so-called The Real Selena. Rollo was trying to meet those two at a snap of a finger within a few matter of hours or days in Texas. So Rollo all of a sudden want these two to drop what they're doing, to go meet Rollo at some kind of hotel or something, or whatever it was, in Texas. And this was just a few months ago. When those was about almost 2 to 3 months ago. You remember when a couple hours earlier in this whole series here, where they make a video called "Ladies Stop Lying." That's when it was a couple days after where they got busted, where they got exposed. The targeted person. They put out a video calling them liars, and they showed the receipts. They showed evidence, hard evidence, with their testimony of what happened in the whole situation, with their report. It made it known that they, as well as the real Selena / Selena, had been instructed or told by Rollo that he will be in Texas and be ready to go meet him in person so they can do business. So, what is this business, huh? What is this business?
Just on for me, I was raised in the church. I told her my situation. I explained to y'all many years ago. But it scared me off. Took a lot of time for me. And everything. But I did tell him that maybe he shouldn't speak out about it or do any. He shouldn't address this online. This is not something that he wants to talk about online, especially if
So you
guys didn't talk about.
Right. So you were just looking out for him. And
no, I'm looking out for all of y'all. I didn't think it was wise for him to come out again just like that. Being he just came back.
Right.
That was my family. He just came back. It's not wise initially. It's not wise. Thinking about everything we have so-called going on. He told me that we, deadlines and stuff, like you were saying, contracts and whatever. But he didn't disclose any of that to me, and I didn't ask because it's not my place.
Right. So let me stop you. You just said something key just now, man. You were trying to tell him not to go back, that it didn't make sense, and he said he had contracts and deadlines. Now that's interesting because he didn't have a contract with us on anything. There was no deadline.
No, it's not a contract with you guys, but it was about something up here that he has to get done before he goes back to Orlando. But he didn't, I didn't ask for divulge into that information, because I'm trying to relocate, but I'm back in New York for physical disability that happened to me. I told you I was in the hospital about a month ago, or 2 months ago now. So I don't want to be in New York any longer.
Pause again. Another method of Rollo, as well as these other individuals, what they like to do. If they can get someone in a disadvantage or get the upper hand on them in some kind of way, whatever means it may be physically or by character or by circumstance, especially by setting up the situation, they will prey on them. Prey. And try to take advantage of them to do their criminal activity against them. Especially mocking them, insulting them, and calling them bad people, calling them sinners, evil, and everything else.
Gonna have to be, and like you said, sometimes family or people close to you can drag you down and put you in a bad situation, which is what happened to me and prolong my stay. Besides my health.
Understand.
But I did tell him that he should not address whatever he was talking about. He said he ever seems to try and contact you guys, and I was like, well, yes, pray about it and contact him. I said he definitely shouldn't have been videoing and doing things.
Right, I understand. You were just trying to make sure it didn't get messy, and I totally understand that. Now, what I really want to understand is, what he does for a living, and you made it clear he didn't disclose that type of information.
No, he was just trying to get real close, real fast. I'm like, I want to get to know you, but I don't want to know you.
Like that. So he was.
I'm not that girl.
Those who know, they know. One example of that kind of behavior or that nature is a womanizer. And those of you who study the scriptures, especially the character of different individuals, you'll find that what's shown in the book of Job, Job, it was revealed to him a spirit, a big creature in the spirit world. It's over a lot of people. It controls a lot of people in the world. That the behavior of it, Leviathan. It makes people proud, arrogant, boastful, and do some very criminal and evil things out of their own ego, pride, narcissistic behavior and such. And all sorts of things that would be the nature of a proud individual. And if you look in there too, womanizing is among that list. A form of womanizing. That's right. Sometimes there are proud women who just hate other women with a passion. They can't respect their neighbor nor their sister because they got Leviathan in them. And if they can, they'll let that evil control them and make them do criminal activity, some criminal actions, and criminal intent. And if they get the occasion too, it happens and they don't want to get it right, it's going to catch up with them eventually when they do that evil, that criminal activity. And they have to go try to hide it and, whitewash it, make everything look all nice on their behalf, and call everyone else the bad person. Anyone watch that movie Scarface? He was at that one restaurant. He must have been partially intoxicated. And he's just looking around all over the place at all these people who are just existing. And he's complaining. He's addressing people that are, making them feel condemned about people who look at others to point the finger, calling them out. That's right, calling them out for their behavior. And then he says, "Look, there goes the bad guy." And he's trying to throw it back in their face. That's right. And then he turns around and says, "I tell the truth even when I lie." You can say that's an example of someone who's got spirits of Leviathan in them. They'll make them do some criminal activities just so they can build up themselves, to build up their ego for the intent so that people can look into them and they can enjoy the pleasures, the riches, praises, power, position, and influence in this person's life, in this person's world and age. Especially if they can, pay some people, have influence over others, such as those from the Chosen One community. They have criminals and deceived people in there, as well as those who are still learning, trying to figure out the faith. Those who are deceived in there too, in that mix, and those who need to come out of deception and find out what's really true and what's wrong, so that they can get their acts right. They're gonna look for people to be their shall we say, their little church members, their little gang, their criminal cell, their terrorist cell, part of their criminal enterprise, and make it look all nice and good. But as soon as you start doing your investigation, you pop open the hood, you pull the curtain back, you tear off that veil, and you realize something is wrong here. Something is very wrong.
Something's wrong here. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway.
Charles, thank you very much.
Dead giveaway.
Thank you very much.
He had a show last night. It was like some other girl that he met out there. They still whatever. And I was like, I don't want to be like a jealous person. I know it's biblical to have a wife or more wives as long as you can take care of them and everything. But he likes to do things quickly. So I'm like, I'm not that girl. I mean, when I came to you, I came to my home.
Let's speak on that quickly and briefly. After learning about more of this information, here's the thing. The Father in heaven, He knows what He's doing when He makes each one of us and what He would have us to do in this life, especially those who are born again. So, here's the thing. If He wants to give a man to be responsible for more than one woman, He will equip that man. He will instruct them. And here's the thing. the woman that he's dealing with, that he's being responsible for, he's supposed to help them have the opportunity to become mothers, to raise children, and to not only experience the responsibility, but also the privilege, the happiness, the joy, the experience of being mothers, of being sister wives as well too, to raise up children so that those children may also know about what Jesus taught his disciples, so that they may choose to do good in this life. And when they grow up, when they come from, that's right, the CIA knows about this. They know about people who go to the spirit world when they leave their bodies, and people who come from the spirit world. They are trying to do everything they can to cheat. They know about this stuff because they have all that technology and all those methods and such. So yeah, plenty of us who are in this present life right now, as we speak, and those who are going to depart, they know how to keep tabs when they can. That's right, you keep the faith, you know how to pray against the kingdom of darkness. As soon as you cross over, they say, we're glad he's gone, or we're glad they're gone. The devil gets mad when you expose their children. And then the sheriff, as well as the feds, have to come and pack them up, has to come and either put them in a cage or put them in the box, You know how it is with Jim Jones. He didn't want to go to prison for, I don't know what, perhaps maybe the rest of his entire life. He decided to crash out. So what do? He had himself, his most of the people who are going to do the crime with him or done crime with him already, and all his victims, drink the Kool-Aid, or else. Those individuals are starting to look like a death cult. They really wish the FBI would. They really wish the sheriff would, and so forth. And yeah, the CIA, they know how to send their operatives into the general public in disguise to look like everyday people. You ever watch those TV shows, right? Not really try to, watch them, but you just, notice them. Either on the billboards, commercials, or whatever means you run into these so-called TV shows. So the TV shows that you see, where they try to present to you everyday people, and you go live out, that's where you go live real life out there, you're going to find out those characters presented on TV is a gross misrepresentation of everyday people. And these cult leaders, just like Jim Jones, especially those that are from the CIA, and they train other people to be like them too, especially if they have agendas and they want to do various tests and so forth. That's right, some of these cult leaders are tied to or from the CIA, one way or another, if possible. And some of these clowns, some of these goofy individuals, these dry, dusty reprobates and deceitful individuals and deceptive in their ways and so forth, they're out here among the general public, spying on people, conspiring against them, trying to enjoy themselves while they do their their plans, their little, operations, the little, so-called exercises. Yeah, their little exercises, plots and schemes that they do. They're bored and they have nothing better to do but to go start crime, do some criminal actions. Oh yeah, that's right, huh? Just of recently too, the head administrator or so of the CIA got in trouble from the Trump administration. Yeah, how about them apples, huh? Does the shoe fit? Does the same shoe that everyone else has been wearing fit those feet now? Looks like their size now too, huh? What can you say? And hey, if it comes to full completion, let the Father who's in heaven be glorified, for he alone is worthy. So yeah, some of these criminals in suits, as well as these criminals that are actors in uniform, that's right. Again, they come out here, they try to act, that's right, they try to act like you and like me and like everyone else too. They will even try to pick up the scriptures and try to say that they've been sent or of the Most High himself. You find out who they really are and you realize they're moving their mouth, but their actions are different. And now let's not forget the other point there too, and then go into the previous point there too as well. Yeah, because the technology, the type of witchcraft and dark arts and technology and methods that the CIA uses, and other individuals out there that may mess around with the occult arts and so forth, the dark arts, the different forms of Satanism and such, they, by their different combinations, search out and plot and scheme so that in an effort to maximize their evil. So they will try to track souls that will, or try to, monitor and watch for any souls that come from the spirit road. That's right, some of you who've been born X amount of days and years ago, the CIA may be watching you and tracking you and keeping tabs. You may not even know it. That's why some of your lives out here are something else, I'm telling you. You just can't have a normal life like everyone else. You can't just, go to school like everyone else and make friends and hang out with everyone else like normal and be involved in the same everyday life, the same activities, just live 100% like everyone else, just 100% just fit the mold. Your life just doesn't work like that way, either because of your free will or because the Father would have it to be so, to keep you from being completely conformed to this world, so that you may one day hear, receive, and that you may believe the good news, that you may believe what was taught in the New Testament from the Father's Son, also known as Jesus, that you also may receive, believe, and be born again, and not be patterned nor living and operating by the ways of this world, but that you also might be wise to learn from the wisdom accordingly, so that you know how to operate in this, that's right, how to live in this, in the world and the environment, the general public, with skill, proper skill and application, so that way you're doing things properly in life, to live a moral life, a righteous life, a good life, a life where there's justice, integrity, moral of character, as you are conformed to the Father, Son, the more so, that you may be ready for the kingdom to come. And that you may choose to do the good, especially so that you choose not to do any criminal activity out here in this world. Because it's those of the devil that actually are the ones doing all this criminal activity. Yet they want to raise up all these organizations, and they want to be the ones that point the finger and call everyone else evil and call themselves good, justify themselves among themselves. But the Father knows their hearts. The Father in heaven knows who they really are. So some of these individuals, like some of these COINTELPRO and CIA agents and so forth, they like giving people a hard time, especially those whom the Father has sent into this world to be born again, receive the knowledge of the truth, walk after it, live in it, and to do His will, to be used for His will, His good pleasure, so that His kingdom may be revealed the more so here on earth as is in heaven, that His will be done the more so here on earth as is in heaven. His name be glorified and His word come back unto Him complete. The more so here on earth as is in heaven. So yeah, some of these individuals, they are beyond, shall we say, reasonable. That's right, to the point where you cannot even reason with them anymore. Their minds are set in such a way to where you cannot reach them at different capacities in different ways because of the evil and the criminal nature of themselves that they have developed and grown over time. And then going back to the previous point, the man's supposed to serve those women. The man's not supposed to be a tyrant nor oppressive. He's supposed to be there alongside with them to help them experience this life, learn the responsibilities, grow, so that when both of them stand before the Father, all of them stand at the judgment, their works and their words, their thoughts and intents and so forth are examined, so that they may be good things done in righteousness, in the good that is done morally what is correct in His sight, according to His word, His ways, and His will. So that those who do actually practice polygyny or choose to live after it, and it be given to them from the Father, that it may be done the right way, instead of misusing it, because there are men out there, so-called men, shall we say, or certain men, that will take another woman, so that he can mistreat the woman of his youth. Yeah, let's get it right here from the context. Malachi chapter 2, verse 14. Yet you say, wherefore? Because Yahweh has been witness between you and the wife of your youth, against whom that you have dealt treacherously. Yet is she your companion and the wife of your agreement. Man, this is why you need to know what's good and what's evil, and this be led by the Father. Because some of you, that's right, certain of you men out there have dealt treacherously to the wife of your youth. You've been deceitful, you plotted and schemed against her, and when that other woman comes into the picture, you are crooked. You don't spend enough time with your first wife. Instead, you go out there and you do her dirty. You fornicate. You low-key just want to divorce her and get someone else who's going to not hold you accountable, someone else who's not going to keep you going as a man, someone else who's just going to give you what you want, someone else who's not going to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and so forth. You just want to get someone else who's going to just comfort you in your evil, your criminal ways, as well as your crooked ways and so forth. Someone who's just going to go with the flow. Someone who's just going to make you your food, bring some extra money to the household if they have to. Shut up and just do what you say. That's what you want, don't you, huh? You scumbag, you punk, you criminal, you heathen. But the few, the certain righteous men out there who are going to practice polygyny, who are going to have agreements to provide for more than one woman, not only are those other women going to have the opportunity, based on age and whatever circumstance is, to have children, to be a mother by having children to that man, but also to experience motherhood, to raise that child, to have not only of herself, but also that man right there to help raise those children, as many children as it may be, to learn so that she does her role and he does his role to raise those children, so that they are equipped in this life when they grow and mature, especially with the environment of love, where it's gonna be the children raised properly. They're gonna be disciplined. They're going to be fed, clothed, raised up properly. And the women involved in the whole situation are going to have a good environment too, to where they're going to feel safe. They're going to feel loved, feel respected, have their dignity, as well as be able to do what they can do. So the women, when at work, if they want to have a business, a trade, if they want to occupy a certain occupation and so forth, or they have something they can do, or the Father gives them to do, then there's that. So if the women have a calling from the Father there too, then they are able to have the opportunity to walk in it too. And in some cases, having extra help around the household, even if it's cousins or so forth, at least can help raise those children. That way, when those children grow up, they can become quality people. And some will say it's about being this way and being that way, but the bigger picture is to give more people security and environments, especially the opportunity for the women to be mothers and that man to be not only a husband, but also a dad unto those children, to be responsible in his role in those prospective areas and other areas other responsibilities he has to occupy and be responsible for too, and whatever calling and what's given to those women too. That way, everyone can do their part without being diminished, not maltreated, abused, neither, as well as to not be treated less than who they ought to be treated as. Sometimes the husband and the wife and whatever women are involved there too. Sometimes the men and the women, they need that part of the downtime with each other where they need to be, take a break from being they need to, switch hats. You know how you go to one occupation, you wear this one hat. You go to another occupation, you wear a different hat. The proverbial hat, right? So in this, yeah, the man has to wear the hat of a husband, then wear the other hat as a dad unto the children, as well as being a dad with the women, any woman or women involved, whoever it may be, to do his position, his responsibilities, to provide and raise those children accordingly in his role. And in some cases, depending on the relationship between the men and the women, so the man and whatever woman or women involved, he has to wear that other hat as a friend, as a mentor, as a counselor, even, especially to wear the hat as in a mature way of putting it, as a brother. Some people need to unwind to where they could just talk to each other. Just be true, chill, mature, responsible, unwind, and their minds be able to rest a little bit and recover. And they just talk to each other without making it a big old scene, and without taking it out of proportion. Just be able to clearly and straightforward talk to each other, have some honor and respect to each other in communication, and so forth. Ringo, Rollo, Brainwaves, as well as those other three, Lester, that's right, Karat the Star, Born Again Israelites, he made mention of this, that one mention there, the, entertainment of the positive side of what is to do polygyny the right way. I would not be surprised if he tried to grow and it enters his heart to try to go get another woman or another wife. And I'm just saying, by the surface level, give us some time if he wants to continue. He may entertain the idea of let these other five here to go get himself a concubine or someone to fornicate with. But they have wives already, or a woman already, supposedly. Rollo wants to claim, or has claimed to have a woman in time past, some months ago, or some weeks ago at some level. And he wants to supposedly get a Caucasian lady at that. Yet these so-called individuals, these so-called men, these wannabe men, shall we say, want to say that they're in support of the quote-unquote black woman, the Israelite woman, and therefore they're being abusive with their tongue and doing some stuff behind the scenes. If they mark the messenger in particular, he has to put up his front very carefully. He has to make himself look so clean, he squeaks when he walks. These others, they do it to their own version too. That's right, their own version. They make themselves look, those other five make themselves look so moral that they squeak when they walk. They make people think they're so moral and that they're being blessed by the Father, and they're getting all these material possessions, all these worldly gains. They're not going out here doing what Jesus told his disciples to do. They can't bring forth that kind of character and growth. The fruits of the Spirit, as well as being used by the Father to do his will. They're over here too busy serving money. Jesus told people when he's around, you cannot serve Mammon and the Father, because you will love one and hate the other. See, these criminals in particular here, these 6 criminals, that's right, Lester, born again of Israelites, Karatasar, he's up to no good either, like those other 5. Especially when he tried to so-called expose Straightway Truth Ministry, try to talk about it. No, he's running with the criminals. He'll defend a criminal and condemn someone who's calling out the wolf in sheep's clothing. And he's talking moral like them too, and behaving like them too. He wants to be accomplished to their criminal activities and such, as well as harassment, slander, defamation of character, and so forth. And how old is Lester again? He has to spend a long time in prison. He has to do the time for the crime. It's only a matter of when and how he will exactly be judged. But Lester, he's done his trouble there too, just so that he's done his criminal behavior, his criminal actions, just so he can make money. Again, Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve 2 masters, for either he will hate the other and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yah and Mammon. You cannot serve the Father in heaven and serve the devil. For the devil entices men with the material things of this world. You remember when he tried to entice Jesus to give him the kingdoms of this world and a bunch of riches and so forth, a bunch of things and such, if he would bow down and serve the devil? Matthew chapter 4, and we're going to go close to the end here. Let's start with chapter 7, verse 7, just before. Jesus said unto him, It is written again, You do not tempt Yahweh your Elohim. Again the devil took him up into an exceedingly high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them. And he said unto him, All these things I will give you, if you will bow down and worship me. Then he said unto him, Get thee behind me, Satan, for it is written, You shall worship Yahweh Elohim, and him alone only shall you serve. Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. And that's because he was fasting for 40 days, 40 nights, and he was hungry. After that, he was taken care of. So what's being said here through the scriptures here, to expose these criminals, they're sold out. They're sold to Satan. They're going to do criminal activity to enjoy their piece of the pie, the fiscal pie, the reward of criminal activities. And they're going to try to hide and try to keep it behind the scenes in the background, Kind of like how Jim Jones, he put up a very good front, and people people started to do their investigation, their research, and it's becoming bad for his business. He wanted some people to be, he wanted to get rid of some people, including that one governor who was going to get him in. That's right. He was a big situation for Jim Jones. Someone on behalf of Jim Jones went out there to go get rid of that governor who was going to be a problem to Jim Jones's evil, to his criminal enterprise, to Jonestown. For the sake of time here, let's find the exact point here and stick to that right here. So this will be paused until it's found exactly.
Body count, and it's things I try to talk about. But he likes to do things quickly. So I'm like, I'm not that girl. I can keep my home. I can medical fountain stuff. I don't have anything. I've been around the block. I have a body count, and it's things I try to talk about with him. He exposed me twice when I talked about that.
Wow.
But he told people stuff about me. I met up with him a couple weeks ago, and he put stuff out about me online that I didn't know about.
Wow.
And I told him about it. I like the choice. I'm not a very, you're making things look like, I don't know if he knows that to somebody, but he was like some guy's dad when we were going out.
Pause. So let's get this straight. He's forging lies about people, defamation of character. He's spreading it like a wildfire. He's just spreading it over the place. And even taking people's personal things that's supposed to be between them, and he's going out there and gossiping and tattletelling, or otherwise dispersing it to the wrong crowds of people, so that they can look at the said targeted individuals that he's going to plot and scheme against the wrong kind of way, to prepare them for a bad circumstance. That way, whenever they do their criminal activity, they have it all orchestrated. That way, all their yes men can get up there and say and testify on behalf of this false narrative, and make the targeted individuals that have been victimized, or targeted at least, look in the wrong. But come up with all sorts of allegations, either anything that's true that they can get off of you. Isn't that what Brother Mike, otherwise Mike Fullen, as well does there too? That's one of the followers of Charles Dove Jr., or was so-called follower, learning the ways of Charles Dove Jr. These cult leaders and their criminal activities, those animals definitely need to be locked up. They be doing too much out here. And the CIA and other people be out here just letting them do all this evil for as long as possible. But as soon as enough pressure, enough people speak up, now people need to take some action involved here. Oh, how horrendous. We need to investigate this here.
He made it look like he couldn't talk to that because some things were going to go down. Didn't go down. And he talks like, that I don't like. So, plus my hygiene is, I think that been the night before we talked about maybe we should go back out. I'm like, it was something he can use for his mouth. It seems to be, I care about you, and I'd rather tell you to your face every time. You have morning breath, or your breath is not fresh. And, you need to answer that. There's no, people talk about you on your back. I'm going to get the for myself.
So his hygiene, so let me slow down. So his hygiene wasn't up to par. And right, and he was basically pushing up on you. You were uncomfortable in this situation.
And I told him so.
Right, and you told him you were uncomfortable. He kept did he keep making advances at you, or he respected your boundaries?
He respected my boundaries to a little bit, but he's still very pushy. And I had talked to him about that last night when he said that he's going to wait, don't make any content.
Two wrongs don't make a right. Let's briefly mention this because there are certain units of, shall we say, of investigation that specialize in a investigation of SRA, satanic ritual abuse. There are specialists out there who investigate the type of criminals who do the works of Satanism, the occult practices. One example is some of these individuals who are criminals. You have a couple of them without painting. That's right, without painting the broad paintbrush. There's a certain type of individuals among them that do criminal activities that greatly lack in hygiene. There's a difference between someone who hasn't showered or, for a few days, that needs to take a shower. For example, if someone hasn't taken a shower in 3 or 4 days, there's that. But someone who's just funky, someone who needs to brush their teeth, someone who needs to, everything else when it pertains to hygiene. Yeah, there are evil individuals, especially criminals of different sorts, that just have some kind of capacity, or there are those, as it is out there, especially some of them to some kind of capacity, where they diminish their hygiene because of the evil that's in them, the evil in their hearts. So to stir up the corruption in their being, they may have bad hygiene. So yeah, some Satanists out there, they might have bad hygiene. Other criminals, they may have bad hygiene as well too. And that's on purpose of the attempts of the practices and such that they do. It's also their nature. If they have those type of evil, that's right, those type of demons in them. For those who do the investigation and study and research. Second point here, the second wrong. Unless a man consents and unless a woman consents, why are you touching one another without consent or agreeing to it? And at the minimal basis, on the general level, if one or the other, touches one another in interaction, they can express either verbally and so forth if they consent to it or disagree with it. That way, sound and solid communication can be established without allegations, presumption, as well as those who want to do certain things and they 100% agree with it, and when it suits them, when they want to do evil and criminal activity towards the other, they either withdraw their consent. That's right, they might withdraw their consent afterwards, after fully going along with the process. Or worst case scenario, they start misbehaving and acting up so that they can try to manipulate that person that they are trying to influence, and one way or another get them to do what they want them to do. Or worst case scenario, create a scene, then call the cops and whoever else they may get involved in to create the situation, the falling outs, the bad situation, to create the scene, the drama, and so forth, the controversy, in an effort to get the other person in trouble. and they say they did this, they did that, and X, Y, and Z, and so forth, when that may not even be it at all, period. There's evil people out there like that, especially criminals. When they do that, and they present the narrative as such, they want to do everything they can to keep you, especially FBI, police force, sheriffs, and everything else, everyone else, from hearing both sides of the story. They want you to jump to conclusions, to take one side and prosecute or persecute, otherwise do evil, especially bodily harm to the other party. In the belief that you're doing a good thing, or the right thing, or what seems the best solution. Both sides has to be investigated and diligent search made to investigate and find out who really is telling the truth with this whole situation that's transpired. That way the facts and everything can be brought forth to be made known, so that, yeah, who's right, who's wrong, and at what kind of level too. Is it serious? Is it just an offense? Was it a misunderstanding? Or was the so-called victim the malefactor, the one who had criminal intentions in the whole matter in the first place? Was the criminal playing victim in the whole situation? Because these narcissists, when they get in trouble or when they don't get their way, they'll play the victim and cry wolf to get people to go cuddle them, to feel bad for them, to give them money, and try to help them go out there and do crime on their behalf. Put the proverbial battery in their backs and so forth. All over a he said and they said, without hearing both sides and without doing your investigation. Doing that kind of behavior on their behalf with them too is how to get judged and get in trouble with the Father in heaven. It's also bring you into potential legal liability and lawsuits, if it need be, as well as charges, penalties, and so forth for just lying on someone. That's right, telling lies on someone, malicious lies to cause harm and loss to them, especially on that premise, even in that premise. And all sorts of evil into them just for lying and being deceptive. That's right, being deceptive with the whole process. So again, both sides has to be searched out and investigated so that people find out to what extent the real person who's at fault is at.
Online about this because especially with Ringo's wife there, that could have got real ugly. If that was my dad, I'm surprised, y'all.
Hold on, let me pull that back again.
Because especially with Ringo's wife there, that could have got real ugly. If that was my dad, I'm surprised, y'all. Because especially with Ringo's wife there, that could have got real ugly.
If Ringo's wife was there, it could have got real ugly. How do we overlook this? Whoa. Hold up. Hold up. We have something fresh off the how's that cliche go again? Fresh off the press. get this. Charles O. Jr., he has used his wife, Carol, on behalf of his criminal activities, especially to help him be accomplice, to help assist him in human trafficking, as well as kidnapping, including man stealing, stealing of women and stealing of children, and potentially stealing of men as well too, to not only still kidnap people, including kidnapping children, but to also traffic them as well too, to sell people or market the services, to get all the money off of them and leave little to nothing or less for the person who's employed or being used. Man, that's a big one right there. So Carol, otherwise known as or what used to be called Mother Carol from Straightway Truth Ministry, yeah, she's been helping him do the crime, helping him do his dirt. So yeah, Carol's been helping Charles Doe Jr. do some criminal activities. So Ringo's wife, how much crime is she involved in too? As well as the so-called wife of Brainwaves, otherwise the son, how much is she into crime as well too? As well as the wives of these other so-called wannabe men. That's a game changer right there. And Ringo wants to talk about, oh, Newbury talked about my wife this way.
It's turned into bitch ass niggas. Where are your balls? Where are your balls? Where are your balls?
And I'm gonna stand on that. Okay. And they can get in my DM. You can get in my DM all you want every day.
So let me revisit that one point from earlier. If you can't be trusted with one woman, why in the world would the Father give you a second woman? Make that make sense. Oh yeah, that's right, huh, Ringo? Otherwise, Donald. That's right, huh, Donald? Yeah, you're trying to amass all this money, and you're out here plotting and scheming, just like Rollo and Brainwaves behind the scenes, and others, like these other three that's mentioned to some extent. If possible, even Lester himself is thinking about doing that. Yeah, that's right, Lester, if he entertains those demons using him, all the evil and criminal activity he's doing, he might be thinking about, amassing some wealth there, some serious money, including the other people in the middle here too, like Mike Fullen, who also wants to come up with some big money so he can afford, that's right, so that Mike Fullen can afford to have Victoria Harwick in his arms. Not tomorrow, not somewhere in the future, but tonight. But he's got a wife, and he has a Catholic ex-wife who wants to vouch and just speak good on his behalf. Just stop. All of you clowns, just stop and go pack up and go back to the circus that you came from. Just stop. Hey, it's plain and clear here. You're gonna go to the devil to go get you another woman. The Father's got that jotted down on the books there, so he's got your work set down on the books. All the women you've been presently committing whoremongering with, whoredoms with, fornicating with, throwing money at, trying to get at, trying to entice, seduce, and smooth talk. Oh, you really want to present yourselves as righteous men, as so-called men of character, a men of the faith, of moral men, men who have all this substance because you're so-called righteous? No, you got that from serving the devil. All 6 of you got it pretty much. Because Lester, a born-again Israelites, he's trying to get paid. Especially Mike Fullen, that crush dummy, that criminal. Mike Fullen made death threats to someone else who's also in the faith, just so that he can potentially get paid and get validated. All you can do is shake your head and be amazed because these criminals, they're doing too much. They're doing the same things like one another does to some kind of extent or capacity, to various measures and ways. And they have yet to be packed up and put into prison houses or the federal penitentiary. Yeah, let everyone find out who they really are, and then they go serve sentences for a very long time. Let's see how that goes. Let's see how that works out. They like to also grape women there too. They like to violate women. They have something else coming for them too in the judgment of the courts of law, especially the courts of heaven. When the measure of their cups are filled, and they have to receive the due complete penalty, the due complete decree of justice that has been waiting to come forth upon them. The due measure of judgment. They think, oh yeah, that's right, huh? Because of the son, Dason, otherwise brainwaves, because of brainwaves, they, as well as Ringo too, and so forth, they all think they can cheat the system and just break the law left and right. Just because they have each other and they have connections, they think they can do all this crime and think they're going to get away with it entirely in this life. And all those demons, that's right, all the evil that's in them, it's been using people for hundreds of years. And these individuals were born like it was yesterday compared to them, or compared to the whole big picture. They get enticed, they get the ideas, they want to do the things. And now they are waxing old in their sins, in their evil, in their criminal activities, their criminal behavior. And they want people to feel bad for them because all of their criminal activities and their evil, to some extent or capacity, is or is looking to come forth to judge them, to bring judgment upon them. So they can't get away of the judgment the Father has for them, as well as any judgment of men, including those judgments that are just, moral, and true, and good.
That was my dad. I'm surprised, y'all openly carrying him. It could never ugly, especially with his wife, where that man, whoever that guy was, might not have left that situation because that, looked real bad and just put, like, also how to trying to stop something good from happening. That's what I meant, just trying to break up, something good by starting something that could be shown like, oh, a situation happened up here if y'all had to protect yourselves.
Right.
And then it looks like, neither one of y'all from this state, y'all coming out here and starting something, and this is why black people can't do anything, And so I expressed that to him. I said, especially with his wife there, that could have got really, Ringo was 100% his right.
Now, let me ask you, when you was explaining that to him, did he seem to be receptive of what you're saying, understanding how dangerous that situation was? Did he show any signs of remorse or anything? Because you got to keep in mind that this is his friend, that he was told directly not to have him show up. And if you looked at some of the live stream I did, he was warned not to have those people show up, but in the evidence that's presented, he never told them not to show up at all. In fact, it looked like he was trailing us the whole day. Did he show any remorse for what happened?
He said he was sad about what happened. It was nothing but the enemy trying to break things up. But he thought that he hadn't met me like that. I said we shouldn't have been there. You shouldn't have had that guy around, especially if you just coming back down. I thought it was a good idea.
Hold on, Jerry. You said something key. You said he shouldn't have had that guy around. So you must have known that Rollo was planning to bring these other guys around. Right?
No, I didn't. I didn't get that information until I saw him, like I said, streaming live. Like I said, because I told you on the thing, streaming live, everywhere you go, talking about stuff, just showing where you at. That's just not wise.
Right.
And I said, that's just not wise in any sense of the word. I said, but he told me that he was sorry that happened, but he did say that he did not give your location. The guy knew the area.
Yeah,
he showed his location, and the guy probably got your location because he said he knew the area. But
yeah, he's not going to show. Yep, say that again.
Did not say anything like do not straight up, do not approach, do not come. This is not the time, and that's what should have been straight up said and acknowledged if he was being 100 on everything. And he didn't tell me that. I was just using my discernment and thinking, well, did you say that? But he never answered me.
Right.
He didn't answer me. He said, I said, well, maybe. He said he tried to reach out to Ringo, but Ringo blocked him. I said, well, I did that the first time because Ringo that wasn't wise to do because he don't know you like that. Second of all, his wife was there, so that just escalated the situation. And if they told you not to bring anybody around, I said, plus they were doing business all day, they were tired. I said, it doesn't look like, just jumping back in there and telling everything you're doing.
Right.
What you're doing, it didn't look, y'all was sitting in the chairs,
So to shorten that up there, they could have showed up and those three individuals could have, caused a very uncomfortable situation, especially for women there too. Oh yeah, Ringo, since he's so-called undercover CIA and so forth, and he has no true rebuttal against it. All he does is look at the camera and just scoff, just mock at it, try to laugh it off and look tough while he's doing it. His little so-called fake masculine composure. So he talks about having his firearm. Or had talked about having this firearm. These other individuals, Brainwaves, otherwise the son, would claim that he is a cop. And then you have Rollo here, who mentioned in one of his videos that supposedly he was thinking of becoming a security guard. And then he had to do what he had to do again. He had to get practice so he can get certified in that area too, if that's recalled properly. But either way, he would have to get he would have to be certified and trained up to be a security guard, so you can EDC. So you have criminals here who, especially Donald, he's explained of his mind, what's in his mind and his heart, that he would desire to, EDC, CC, shall we say it that way? That way, if he was to start, getting some ideas in his head, getting some plots and schemes, then he would reach for his firearm and do some evil, some serious amount of things that would bring about many charges in his criminal record. discharging a firearm, pointing a firearm at someone, and all sorts of, a whole bunch of it. Because obviously, those animals are unstable, they're reprobate, you cannot reason with them on such a level, on certain extents especially, to where maybe you get some conversation out of them, but not no solid, legitimate, good quality conversation. Let's see if we could just rush to the part here that also has to be mentioned here as it is, or needs to be mentioned. Okay, I have to make an exception of this other point right here.
Store. And it's just like he's, from what I ascertained from all of this, he's communicating with them, basically selling them tickets, wolf tickets, that they're going to meet up with us. And he's using social media to keep a trail on us. And we don't know what. Right. Now, as far as the conversations he was having with him, I think it's a little more dark and sinister than what it meets the eye personally. Because of the mind frame and mindset that Tate showed up with. He had real bad energy, and whatever he showed up to do, it was potentially fatal. He sounded like somebody who was on a suicide mission. He was talking incoherently. It was supposed to be, he's going to be bringing out video too, but it was very bizarre. And the fact that Wallow keeps company with these bizarre people, it means something to me. So I want to ask you, you already stated that he was pushing up. You told him he was uncomfortable, his hygiene was bad. He continued to be aggressive because he kept being pushy. That's the word you use, pushy.
There you have it right there. And it's confirmation right there too. But this is just an allegation, right? Just stop, please. Just stop. Man, I tell you, these guys right here.
Nigga, I'm
This I'm throwing in here too because here's the thing. Charles R. Jr., he has shown some things that come from, shall we say, modern day Freemasonry. All those people who are being deceived or being misused and abused, misguided, misdirected, and used as pawns for 33-degree Masons. The real Satanists, not the everyday person who just looks and acts funny on purpose. I'm talking about the ones that actually go out their way to plot evil and do criminal activity. As was just recently mentioned in that video right there, in that segment. Ringo does that little hand gesture with his chin and his thumb and his pointer finger and the rest of his hand. That's a Freemason gesture there too. Yes, those particular individuals that are intentionally not the everyday, people who are just, going to those temples, but the ones that are actually being used to do, criminal activity and so. Yeah, they like to communicate about themselves in public before they go do their evil, their criminal behavior. So again, I make a distinction between the everyday person who goes to the Freemason temples and Illuminati and so forth, being used to some capacity or level potentially, if they submit themselves to such authorities that their supposed leaders would have them to do, leading them astray and trying to use them as pawns for such a scheme, whether it be immoral, evil, criminal, or simply just something against the will of the Father. And then you have brainwaves doing that finger pointing towards his head, that gesture, that thing with this, where he tries to make it look like he's putting his finger on his temple and his head right there. That's also a Freemason symbol there too, or gesture, to put it correctly. Those individuals are shall we say, the other Freemasons, the ones specifically being mentioned, where they are among Satanists, different type of Satanist groups, and they intentionally come to plot and scheme and do criminal activity and such. And they will do some violent criminal activities.
I tell you, man, this man is a liar and a deceiving dog.
And those criminals, they love to lie with a passion. You know, someone who just loves to paint, and they're very good at painting, they can paint some very good masterpieces. These individuals right here, those 6 in particular, they are experienced. They know how to lie on such a level to deceive everyday people.
That is nonsense. I don't have time for that low-base, nonsensical, stupid mindset. Look, you can't do nothing about natural retardation. But spiritual retardation, people who choose to be dumb on purpose, come on. Do you really truly want to sit there and trade words over social media? That ain't the generation I grew up in, so that's why I don't have time for all that.
Again, they have a reprobate mind in them, so trying to talk to them is like talking to a wall. And when they're aggravated and stirred up, yeah, it's like trying to talk to a brute beast. That thing will come out. And yeah, any FBI, sheriff, law enforcement or so that will seek to reprimand and arrest such individuals, be prepared for the worst on the criminal's behalf. When they come unhinged, when they become mentally unstable, be prepared to do the maximum extent of conflict. That's right, conflict resolution. To find the solution, even if it's the least desired outcome. I mean, hey, there's all these things that don't be surprised. Even without them in the equation, you can still go to their some of their hard material, their hard evidence and so forth, and use your technology to go look into their software, their deleted stuff and everything else and so forth. Let's just say you won't be ashamed if you have to go that direction. You most likely won't be disappointed, to put it to the least.
I'm gonna let somebody. That is nonsense. I don't have time.
And here's the thing: when you try to address them, try to reason with them, and so forth, they're just gonna have this empty, low bass, back and forth, childish, back talk with you.
I'm gonna let somebody else describe what type of person you are.
I'm stupid. No, you're stupid. I'm stupid. No, you're stupid. I'm stupid. No, you're stupid. I'm stupid. No, you're stupid.
Yeah, how about that Ron Knapp over there? That David guy right there. He's also a rotten apple. He's not really. He's low key, but yeah. He's fake and phony, just like Ringo is. Like Donald is. And yeah, David is asking for a lot of criminal charges if he keeps up his drama, if he keeps up his beef and doesn't show any manner of respect and stay in his own little lane. But yeah, those 6 individuals, as mentioned, they had some serious childish talkback. It Mark the Messenger, because he's so quiet and so low-key, he tries to keep his dirt hidden in the background. Don't be surprised if he gets called out and he gets exposed hard by someone who's being legit and he's got some back talk. Don't be surprised. Because, yeah, all that evil in his heart, all that criminal activity, all it just takes is enough pressure to make him crack, to make him come unhinged, to make him crash out and start acting a fool and reckless and saying some things that he can't take back. Especially when you got someone who's got little to no surface level to try to defend himself nor discredit what's being put to them. It still has to be proven and tried, right? So it still has to come to fruition one way or another. Whether it was revealed already and has not been investigated and brought to the forefront, or otherwise, he has to mess up some big time and people find out he's a fraud. Trying to be spiritual, but he's trying to be spiritual to some extent, but the whole time he's been plotting and scheming. Thus far, all this information, before getting to the rest of it, you could definitely cash that in. You could definitely take it to the bank. You could definitely, as a form of figure of speech as it is, as symbolism, as a metaphor. In other words, you can definitely put this information in your folder and take it up and get it applied accordingly. Whether you are turning in this information for investigation, or you, the agency, even a sheriff, could be investigating this information and, examining it. And take action accordingly.
Yeah.
Now, afterwards, what I want to know is, did he display any kind of weird behavior, like something strange to you that was like, all right, that's odd? Did he say anything that was odd to you?
What he said that was odd to me was that he was going to run back up there. And I'm like, that doesn't look wise. They're already out there. You just came back. You said you had contracts and business to do. You had canceled some times we were supposed to meet up.
What kind of business is this guy doing, huh? What kind of business is he doing to where he's supposedly a businessman? He's trying to make all this money. He's working DoorDash. Come on now. You have he claims to come from a powerful, rich, wealthy family, wherever it may be. From a higher society family, from a wealthy family, from some kind of rich family. They have position. They have so-called connections. He's down here on the ground with everyday people, or around everyday people to an extent, to his own level of separation and segregation. Working DoorDash, claiming he's doing all these business deals to make himself millions of dollars, or to at least become a millionaire, is what was being said. With all these business deals, and turn around and get a mansion. So he's supposed to be making all this money, making all these deals for business, unless worst case scenario, he's been lying the whole time. put up a front as much as possible, lying about his work history, lying about his past as much as possible, lying about who he really is. That way, if he's done this stuff before over the years, then he can lie and make the victim or the targeted individual look bad. To turn the crowd against the victim and the person exposing them and those who've been affected and so forth. And keep themselves looking squeaky clean in their sight. What a shame.
Just know you about that. I want to know you better before. I just don't,
He's online claiming that you his wife.
Right, I found that out online myself. That's what I'm saying.
You did not give him. So let me ask.
These criminals. Four of them at least, or actually, so this could be spoken of so far. There's a common behavior among those 6 individuals. Where again, they make investments on women if they can, potentially even to go so far as to persuade, try to convince them, try to deceive them, whatever means they can to get them in their affluence and authority as well as control. And to sit there and justify yourself for raping women, you individuals, a good portion of you, of the 6 I mentioned, that's rough. Charles L. Jr. plotted and schemed to get Nellie, either Nellie Flores or Nellie Gonzalez. Gonzalez or Flores is her last name. Most likely Flores. Do you have Ringo's wife, or Donald's wife? Rollo supposedly has a woman or someone he's with. And yet still, even in that, he's still gonna make women look bad still. Even to, to violate them too.
No, I did not.
You did not give Rollo permission to say that you are his wife for the
No,
record.
I did not. I don't think I told you. I'm trying to tell you, but you just want. This is what I'm scared of when I put it up. Guys just want sex, and I don't want to thought you were. I mean, the truth you were different. I mean, this is the way maybe I know something about his wife, but Jamaica or whatever. And I'm like, I want you to know her. I'm like, I can bring you all my medical records. I have even just the way you are. Last night, he ran a thing and he met some other girl, and I might have sounded jealous of some things, no. You all my medical records. I have even just the way you are. Last night, he ran a thing and he met some other girl, and I might have sounded jealous of some things, no, she don't meet you. So she was drinking.
These 2-legged dogs and their criminal behavior. So they, especially Donald, they smooth talk these women. They talk real good. They talk like they're, that's right, I'm gonna say it how it is. They talk like some thirsty, whoremongering criminals. They will say all the right things. They'll talk real smooth. They'll say all these flatteries, all this flirtation. They'll even go so far as to, compliment them excessively, love bomb them, kind of like how narcissists do, love bombing people, and just really butter them up. That's right. These devils, or otherwise these criminals, are lining up the women, lining them up to either force themselves, entice them into what they claim to be as making them their women. Or worst case scenario, if they can affect their minds, even force themselves physically by their brute strength or their body size, intimidation, as well as blackmail, gossip, and whatever they can do to have leverage over them, to then put the pressure on the women so that they can grape them. That is bad. Seriously bad. And people just want to sit here and go along with it. They want to... That's what Rollo does there too. He plots against women. They don't commit fornication with them or whoremongering. What happens? If they can get away from him, if they can flee from the scene and get somewhere safe, if the person's crying out saying, hey, this person's trying to do this and that and so forth to me, then they start playing the victim. Ringo, Rollo, Brainwaves, Charles L. Jr., four of them so far that can be mentioned on the surface level, that's already openly known. The other two, I mean, hey, they're doing criminal things. They're susceptible to doing such behavior if they have not been exposed and caught yet in those things, especially behind the scenes. It's usually behind the scenes, so they really want to keep things behind there. They don't want to face the music, shall we say. So when these things start coming out against them, and they start to really, these material statements, these facts that are holding its weight in water, when all this information comes out against them, all of a sudden now they want to they want all the sympathy, all this, oh well, it's their fault and not mine kind of talk, all this us versus them type of rhetoric. All these witches and these warlocks, they've been trying to plot and scheme against me, and this is why I fell down hard. No, not so, Rollo. Rollo got exposed. People didn't toy around with the material. They packed up and they separated from him. Worst case scenario, there's still deceived people among his following. And, yeah. They love to have it so. They love their condition. They think they're doing right when they've been doing wrong to the time.
Don't, it's not aggressive. She doesn't mean it's okay, like, I like you, it's okay to ask what you want if you see something, but when I did meet him, my first impression was he seemed like a nice guy, his laugh was hilarious, his character, but, I don't have OCD to that extent. There's nothing wrong with just making sure things are, handled properly.
Right. So,
and I would never get anything if you're a woman either.
Right.
I'm not. I don't know your father's name, I don't know his age, I don't know all the stuff I'm telling you, stuff that you think you need to know somebody, and then I find out he's putting online a picture that he was taking. I didn't know you, and then he told me about it. I had to go see it online, my lately, different all this stuff. But I just like to put out online, like, I had to tell him after that. I appreciate that. You asked me to come in for a hug and stuff. I didn't know that picture was going to come out. I just brushed my hair up, I was getting ready to go, and I was looking at the apartment and stuff. And I have such a skin, so I had some stuff about, his hygiene and about, making sure the sheets and stuff that when I stayed in one of the rooms in the place that 1 week I stayed over. But I'm like, I'm not doing anything with you. I know your mother's name, sir. And I kept saying, oh, this is okay.
And I don't want to get personal. So are you saying that you did abstain? Y'all, is that what you're saying?
Well, he kind of pushed me into doing some more things, kept kissing me.
Okay.
I do a lot of things, but I do a lot of things to me.
Violation alert. Red flag. Where's the Chinese parade now, huh? Where's all those red flags? We got a red flag going here. Got another red flag there. Over there and over there and over there. And here, there, as well as two. And as well as all the way over there too. Man, we got some red flags all over this place. Oh, but this is just allegations. Then why are you so afraid? Why are you so worried, huh?
I was uncomfortable, plus, like I said, because I just wasn't on, I'm not used to.
And so because you had sensitive skin and stuff like that, his hygiene was up his heart. That could have been potentially bad. But yes, I didn't mean to cut you off out loud.
It's fine, I understand. I think he got offended, but it's not enough to do anything about it. So I brought some things that I was natural. Like I said, that might be, if I brought up, I said maybe a newbie vendor to go up on newbie.love, a natural black company. And I was saying that because I want him to use it, and help him with his oral hygiene and stuff. I mean, it's not that he doesn't wash, but I don't think he's fully smells. Some people think that smells and stuff like that come from not being clean. I some people can wash, but the odors and stuff that people exude is because they don't wash early enough or properly. Some people don't wash properly or use same rag for different parts of their body and stuff like that. But I would have to go about that, and I have very sensitive skin and smells too, so that was aggravating me.
Right. That's because he has unclean spirits. That's because there's some things that are wrong over there.
Well, I was asking about it, but I didn't know. I said, well, he never told me that either. I asked him, okay. I mean, I don't usually be with anyone that doesn't believe in what you're doing. That's not a good thing to build on, and it's not going to work. But I just want to know more about.
For those who know about the study about the different type of demons that influence the minds of people to make them do and say evil things, one of those high-ranking ones would be Belial. That's why some of them can do some very bad stuff and look at you with a both blank, empty look in their face in different situations. Just do it without hesitation. Why do you think you have soldiers who get trained in the army and other people in different institutions get trained to do some very criminal, evil, and immoral things? And they get them desensitized. That's right, desensitized. So that when they are desensitized, and whatever it may be in their training, they get sent out there and they do some very criminal stuff without even flinching if they can.
The person that I decided I'm going to be with before he told me his lady.
Let me ask you this.
And that includes hurting other people one way or another without even blinking nor having any sense of humanity to reach that person, that individual. You can definitely tell that they are experienced or prepared and may be engaged in criminal activity.
How did he react to you saying, listen, I want to slow down? There's certain things I would like to know about you before we get into anything or before we make things official, especially in public. What was his reaction to, I want to get to know more about you, I don't know this and I don't know that? How did he respond to that?
All in due time, love. He's all in due time, love. I said, no, that's not how I work. I'm a modern woman, I'm not bad. I literally lost my virginity to an assault at 37 years old. I mean, it's not like I couldn't have been around him twice. They didn't get as much as you got. And he's a big guy. And so I actually had some flashbacks to, like I'm saying, I'm part of dating. I don't want to associate with anybody when I'm dating anything that happened to me and blame them for it. Like a man. That was not a man, but I mean, a man would do that. But I'm still struggling to make sure that's not all they want. But his response to me saying he's moving too fast, but this is, how we become married. So he asked me to do some things that I didn't want to do. But I was at his place, so I'm like, that was the point.
You hear this right now? You know who else is into that kind of stuff? Donald, otherwise known as Ringo. How so, you may ask? He's into that type of occult stuff. Then he wants any woman or lady he messes around with or can mess around with, he would want them to do some stuff behind the scenes. Some very strange and bizarre things. Oh yeah, and that's right, huh? Charles Doe Jr. is also into that kind of stuff in the low key too. In one of these videos, one of these parts here, a video was shown where Nelly Flores, if that's her name, or otherwise Nelly Gonzalez, that goes by Mama Nelly, or the title of Mama Nelly, or otherwise Nelly. Her face is pale white, and her eyes, you just look at that is wrong. Something is wrong right there. I mean, if you see a pale white looking lady or a female like that, and they have these big old eyes that look like that, where their pupils are, it looks like they have black eyes, you know?
Hell no, to the no, yeah, to the no, hell to the no, to the no, hell no, to the no, hell to the no, to the no, hell to the no, to the no.
No, thank you. That's the least I can say. You got some pale white monster, or evil looking, or strange looking lady, or female, and then you got that Kool-Aid smell on their face too. No, thank you. And this is what Donald is also into, getting those of you who are in the FBI, the law enforcement, even the sheriff and whoever else, you need to come in with a couple of squads and kick in that door, and don't go easy. I'm sparing words right here. I'm just making it plain and simple. Put this in your folder and apply it accordingly. If you catch them in public too, just, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, huh? That's right. Have some undercovers or just someone who, yeah, keep some tabs. Watch them and they're going in. You know? Watch how they move. When they move, how long and where and so forth. If you have to. And minimize, that's right, potentially minimize the, how ugly the situation can get. Try to lock it down as soon as possible. And if I remember correctly, based on the jurisdiction of the higher laws and based on the the codes involved and forms of expression and so forth, you have expressed and given authority to reprimand, make arrest, and detain Donald, otherwise known as Ringo TV, of Ringo TV Reactions, the son of Brainwaves, LOC Topics, and especially Rollo, of Floridian Rollo, and all those other three criminals mentioned. Those three especially Charles L. Jr., Lester of Born Again Israelites, Karatazar, and especially Mark the Messenger. All it takes is at least, maybe one or two just to, detain them, get them to squeal, make them spill the beans, make them seem like a canary. And yeah, stop the proverbial bleeding here. Stop them in the midst of their crimes, in the midst of their criminal enterprise. Those career criminals, they have to be put to a stop. They're causing loss and harm to others. Because they especially want to snatch up women, ladies, and females, and potentially guys if it comes to that, and try to do the unthinkable and the unimaginable to them, to turn them into their pawns if they can, on top of it too. And worst case scenario, if they had those women, ladies or females in their hands, and they refuse, they don't get out of that situation properly, it could escalate, and they can lose their lives to those so-called wannabe men, those evil criminals. This stuff you can't be messing around. Because these days, some of these high-level criminals, that's right, high-level criminals, are doing some of the unthinkable, unimaginable, some of the unpardonable things too. They'll go so far as to the very brink, to the very limits, in the effort to accomplish what they want. That's how evil and how much of a degree of criminal activity they are willing to go to, and they must be stopped one way or another, either by people voluntarily being used to do a good work, a good thing, by shutting down some criminals and stopping them and detaining them and bringing justice upon them, some judgment. Otherwise, we have to wait for the Father in heaven to judge them accordingly in due time. And the judgment to finally be sealed up, to finally be complete, so people cannot say they were righteous men when the whole time they spend their lifetimes at set amount of years being evil and doing criminal activity.
Well, I'm here.
I'm listening.
I'm here. I put myself in a position. I'd rather just where I expect. So now I put myself in a position. I'd rather be more submissive woman and rather be a little bit more loose and just pretend or just go along with certain keeping my I'm not keep sitting on your lap and not naming your guy, but that's all he talks about.
Right.
And he came on very quick to me, so I'm like, I put myself here, so I mean, I'd rather let that happen.
Right. Go ahead.
Here's the other thing there too. It's right in the scriptures. A wicked woman is a portion to a wicked man. And then somewhere else in the scriptures, a righteous woman is given to a righteous man. So, if they see women who are in the faith, who are proclaiming the faith especially, why do you want them so bad? Why do you... Oh no. That's how you that's how you bring in more criminal charges, and that's how you bring in more divine judgment as well too. When you have a woman who says no, and you're trying to plot against a woman who, by flatteries, love bombing, like how narcissists do, in deceptive practices, in deceptive methods and so forth, was trying to lure them in to do some of the most unimaginable and most evil, unempowering things possible. That includes rape, holding them, that's right, holding them hostage / men stealing, brainwashing, adulterating, deceiving them to make them think that these individuals, these so-called wannabe men, are good, moral, right, so-called righteous men. In worst case scenario, try to lay hold of her and cut her off from the line of the living. It's what they've been trying to do now, even still, making threats to a woman's life over the internet, especially being done by various means through Floridian Rollo, and especially behind the scenes through gang stalkers and potential people who would do a favor or try to get paid to do a, shall we say, a hit job on behalf of Rollo, Ringo / Donald, even Desan / Brainwaves. And you got those individuals who are from the Chosen Ones, the counterfeit Chosen One community, the Chosen Ones community. Rephrase that again, the Chosen One community, where they think they are chosen by the Father, and some are just straight up deceived, others are just criminals and evil individuals, and you have those who are an exception, where they're in the wrong crowd and they need to come out from among them and be you separate. Oh yeah, go read that in the book of Revelation. Come out of her, my people, and come out from among them. Be you separate, touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. The Father loves his children. He wants to separate them from the evil ones. From the evil ones that has to be judged. Now concerning you women who are married to a wicked man already, to an unrighteous man, even a very immoral man, remember the account of Abigail and Nabal. Yeah. Seek the Father in prayer. Pray to the Father, and do not faint, but be patient. And whatever door or means the Father may open to you, the Father may bring a righteous man into your life. That way, you don't have to be around that wicked man anymore. And if the Father sees it fit, the Father can bring divine judgment on that wicked man and of Belial. That's right, that wicked man of Belial. So, yeah, you being whittled either by divine judgment on that wicked man, or as it is, you get a bill of divorce, separated accordingly. You both have the conversation, making known that he's not providing for you anymore. He's not providing, or he's not supplying your needs. He's not being a man for you, not being a husband. All he does is just do what he's doing, what he does, what it may be, that he's not providing, and that you have, without a doubt, solid, tangible proof, and especially those of you in the faith, proof of his spiritual condition, his character, his nature, the kind of evil he does, and whatever criminal activity he may be doing. And you don't want to be unequally yoked with him anymore. And get the clearance to get free from him. Get you a righteous man if the Father would bring a righteous man into your life. To make a way of escape. That way, you have a companion. You have someone who can do their part on their behalf. So that way you can continue in the faith and finish in the faith with someone to be there physically to help support you, to help you out. And whatever physical means it may be needed. And they can pray for you too. And without making an offense, that's right, without causing a stumbling block, seek the Father first in prayer. That way, you have a yay or a nay, an open door or a closed door on a situation. That's to put it there for clarity without introducing too much complexity and without causing confusion. So, all things are supposed to be done in the good intent for the right reason. That way, the woman's not looking for a way to step out on her husband, nor commit adultery, fornicate and such, but to find a way out, a solution out of her situation. Because it's getting tough out here for the women of faith, especially those who are coming to the faith and those who are thinking about drawing near to the Father so the Father can draw near to them. And the Father cares about his daughters too. His daughters that are born again, and the daughters that he would have added unto the body. So he doesn't want immorality, a lack of chastity, nor for them to be maltreated, nor for them to go around and misuse their bodies either, nor to be abused and maltreated. So he doesn't want them to be used like a piece of meat, and he does not want them to be maltreated either. And some of you wicked males out there, you want to be men, you fake alpha men. That's right, you fake alpha men. You go out of your way and even will try to do criminal activities just so you can gloat out there. You can gloat, flex, and boast of yourself instead of doing what the Father wants his disciples to do. You want the glory, the praises of men, as well as the validation of men, just so that you can get what you want, your way. Going so far as to do criminal activity, so you can do as thy will, instead of his will. So you can do the way of the devil instead of by killing, stealing, destroying. And that means destroying a woman's soul, doing damage to her soul, her being, her essence, her livelihood, and other parts of her person, physical and spiritual, just so they can satisfy your desires. Those of you who can repent, you need to repent and get right with the Father who's in heaven, and change your actions with the woman that you're with right now, because the Father, He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. And if it's His good pleasure to do a service unto His daughter, to set her free and give her liberty of the bondage she is, or the condition that she's going through and experiencing because of you, your decisions and your free will, how you mistreated your decisions, how you misused your free will, and how you made the wrong decisions so that it benefits you and causes everyone else to suffer. The Father can set His daughters free from you, men of Belial, and give her to someone else who's deserving, who's worthy to receive such a reward. When a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. When he attains favor from Yahweh, from the Father who's in heaven. Look at this. I'm going to have to make another part here. We're just getting started on this area right here before we really pull the rest of the cover off of Ringo, Lester, and who knows, maybe make some time for the other individual in particular. Yeah, the rest here, maybe I'll put it in the link here in the description. Maybe. And that's because, people have, means of retaliating and doing some vicious and desperate stuff.
Clout is one hell of a spell and a drug, a hell of Inking Ultra combined. I said three of those things. What do you see in Ringo that you don't see in Newbie? I already know what the situation is with Newbie, Dario. You already know about Newbie, Selena, but what do you see in this man? This man is a CIA agent. This man don't give a F about us brown carbonated melanin gods and goddesses. But he's one, but he threw that title away a long time ago. Man, you love Ringo. Ringo put you in a clout spell crack. You sniff it, and the spell goes right through your brain cells of the lack of knowledge. Into the conscious. And it destroys the 7 stalkers. Because he's not a god, he's a human being.
So where's the sin there in context? In this modern day, because of all the corruption and counterfeiting out here, let's be for real. There's people who are actually born again, who are children of the King. And if you're asking me, I wouldn't even come close nor even try to toy around with that type of terminology. And when he says human being, see, here's the thing. The Father loves all of His children. He gives them all a chance to, come down here, live a mortal life, and decide what they want to be or going to be before they have to stand up at the resurrection. So yeah, if you want to be a selfless person, live a life of service, that you may do the will of the Father, even what's shown and talked up and made known in the teachings of Jesus in the New Testament, then yeah, you have a chance of being a citizen of the kingdom. Everyone else who doesn't really want to, that wants to be selfish or just wants to be a bot, wants to be someone's servant. When I say someone's servant, I'm talking about, be like someone's 9 to 5, employee, someone's slave. There's a difference between a servant and someone who just wants to follow people. Someone who just is content with just existing. People who just want to go out there and they want to just enjoy themselves, and let everyone else do the heavy lifting for them. Let everyone else do the responsibilities, so they just go out there and they, live a life where they don't really have to have responsibilities on that kind of level. Apart from just serving someone else, being someone's like 9 to 5 employee. And the worst way of putting it, someone's follower, pretty much. Instead of being an example unto others and being a service unto others, following others, and just letting them be the problem solver instead. Letting them do all the responsibilities. And then you have selfish people in particular. Selfish individuals where they'll most likely serve the devil if they can to satisfy their desires. So yeah, there's people out there who are selfish and they will most likely choose evil if they can.
He did that a long time ago. Planet Kai, and I know that I had learned something from Caesar Mall, and he is the main decredited fiend. But man, I tell you, man, why? You choose Ringo? But Selena, you should be the one that said Ringo his weird ass instead of I be goated. You should have said that to Ringo. You should not say that to me. You should have said that to Ringo. Ringo has talked inappropriate things that's not wrong. Talking about 15 to 17. Got some. Get ready for you turn up. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Come on, New Bleak did some terrible things, but Ringo did a lot worse. He did a lot worse. And y'all don't see.
So what he's saying here is that this is 3 months ago. Got him? He's making it very clear that Ringo, through his CIA methods, has done some serious deception unto the masses of people to a level that it's, shall people know it plainly for what it is? Witchcraft. Ringo is what people can say and make it known now is a warlock. A warlock were a special personality in a male that will do a lot of criminal activity, especially that stuff that's tied to Satanism. Yeah, that means a warlock will commit a lot of violations against women. So that's a whole bunch of charges there right up front. Then go up and stir up an evil crowd, a bunch of people to go listen to them, to do evil on their behalf. That's even more criminal charges involved in there too. As well as, the step before and afterwards as a result. Even more criminal charges. And let's not forget here too, the other desperate things they'll do to cause harm and loss to others, especially more criminal charges, even if they do it all behind the internet. That's right. The spirit what's called defamation of character, slander, causing people to lose opportunities in business and so forth when the person has not done any trouble to others. It's also try to cause people to get gain stalked and potentially try to put hits out on people. Ringo Donalds / Ringo, Floridian Rollo in particular, has spoken such rhetoric of putting hits out on people, telling them that they would get a knock on their door at least once or twice. And there's still people listening to those three individuals. Donald, Rollo, the son, Brainwaves. There's also three other criminals.
And y'all don't see how worser and how he throw us so-called people, so-called black people, so-called black people on the bus, talking bad about black people. Israel already aware and talking about bad about FBI, foundational black Americans, so-called. We built America. That Ringo threw away.
That's another one right there too. This individual, Donald, that is two things right there. So first and foremost, was mentioned in the previous video, wolf tickets. I know at least one so-called, shall we say, government agent, and at least another one or two. I find it as a very interesting pattern. These CIA agents or these government agents, these criminals that try to hide behind their government affiliations or associations, otherwise their government connections and such. Some of them do not they do not know what a wolf ticket is. That's a good way how to screen some of them out, especially those that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s and such, especially those going to their 60s. If they're out here bumping their gums, acting like a cult leader, trying to act like they're, so shall we quote unquote Afro-American, but they don't know what a wolf ticket is. These so-called wannabe black Americans, these so-called wannabe like melanated Americans, they don't know what a wolf ticket is. That's another way how to screen them out. Yeah, you remember, what was it, COINTELPRO in the neighborhoods back in the days, right? It was always some criminal wearing a prosthetic face, wearing a prosthetic suit, walking in the neighborhoods, trying to talk and act like the culture and try to talk like the culture of the melanated American people. Eventually something had to give, because they were eventually going to be figured out. So they only learned enough just to get in and get out, do what they got to do. Some of them actually went so far as to infiltrate the communities and start, that's what they would feel, supply bad behavior, and they would start trouble in the neighborhoods, even causing and provoking gang wars. And now you have these agents who want to play the other side of the fence, where they get a big following and they want to point the finger They want to get paid to point the finger at the melanated Americans, the melanated people. It's all coming out one way or another. People are going to find out their dirt. It's going to be shut on top of the rooftops. And that technology that the devil has been using, that smartphone, that TV, that tablet, that computer and so forth, people are going to see and hear for themselves. The wickedness of your leaders is going to be disclosed. People, that's right. You man worship those individuals so bad, that's an abomination in the sight of the Father. That man worship, oh, Ringo is out here the realist. Oh, you're just hating because Ringo and X, Y, and Z and so forth. Just stop. Repent of your sins and come out from among them and be you separate. Turn to the Father, draw near to Him so He can draw near to you and be received unto Him as one of His own.
Ringo is the truth? The truth for all truthers?
That's another key point right there, if it didn't get brought up there. Those criminals are so slick and so sneaky, especially when they hide behind the scriptures. It's so bad right now. You have many types of Jim Joneses out there. You have many Antichrist. And not forgetting, they will plot and scheme to do criminal activity. And try to get people to do criminal activity for them. Because they will try to persuade and convince people that they've been sent from the Father or of the Father. They will get people to man worship them. They will get people to think that they are Jesus incarnate. That's how bad it is. And worst case scenario, they'll think they're following a prophet or a apostle or some kind of individual with a special or person with a special calling in their life. And they're over here doing criminal activity on their behalf or being deceived by them. And those false prophets will try to do whatever they can to get into your pocket, get into your pocketbook, get into your checking account, and hustle you for your money.
Ringo TV reactions. Don't want to see Ringo win. I don't want to see Ray win. I don't want to see Korean Rubble. My last video. The only way they can win, they have to cut ties with the CIA actor, which is Ringo TV reactions. I'm sick and tired.
So yeah, as we mentioned, there is the manipulation tactics, the deception, the programming of the listeners by those criminals that are behaving like cult leaders. It's even on the level proceeding to a type of Jim Jones. They will convince their followers, oh, people's just hating on us. Oh, we're just righteous, anyone's just persecuting us. They'll use all this type of bogus and stuff that will try to influence you, get you in your emotions, and inflame you and entice you to go be their henchmen and try to get into your pocketbook and get into your mind. Some of that is, as mentioned, the so-called independent news YouTube channel that goes and streams their has streams or their shows, streams/shows, and then they have videos of segments or such from their shows, if it is that way, if they choose. One of their videos is them if I recall it properly, either a video or a stream, where they're talking with someone or they're talking about the CIA. And the CIA are infamous in training their operatives or their agents in the art of lying. But people are supposed to love them. I'm just saying because, again, to prevent the broad paintbrush, there are dirty individuals and then there are clean individuals. There are individuals who are just trying to do their work and do it right without getting into trouble. And then you have individuals where they shouldn't even be in there at all, period. So yeah, you have Ringo/Donald, who's skilled, who's trained, and even got the influence of evil, dark forces to help him influence the minds of people to make them see things one-sided. When clearly, when people go to get judged or go to court, even to stand before people to have a matter adjudicated, both sides have to be heard, of course, so that means, yeah, you have to hear the person who's complaining or the individual who's complaining, and then you need to hear the other side, the other side where they have to say their piece, and you have to really weigh out the information, the evidence, what's being said, any discrepancies and whatnot. And these narcissists, Rollo, Donald, Deshaun, Charles L. Jr., Lester, Mark the Messenger, and the rest of them out there, they're going to play the victim, and they will go on the fence, and anyone who wants to be their loyal followers will use them as their henchmen to help them do more criminal activity. And this is to really expose it and to really stuff your folder with enough, or shall we say, a decent amount of information that cannot be just simply disregarded.
Then he talking about the real character of the so-called black women. I already know Newsweed did it. I put Newsweed in his face. I had my own people put me on play. But man, he is a lot worse. You gotta study like dark-skinned tape men like Ringo. You never know what they will do. And could and would. If. And y'all don't.
So there are more points right there. And I'm going to have to continue in another video here to really get into the need to know basis. It should be much quicker now going through this video segment here. Yes, not all melanated individuals or people is of the children of Israel, of a Shemitic heritage. Shem, S-H-E-M. I-T-I-C-T, Shemitic. Hold on. So the big... Yeah, I had to go back to it. Google right here. Yeah, it will mess with people. Shemitic, adjective, pertaining to Shem, the son of Noah. The Shemitic languages are Chaldean, Syriac, Arabic, Hebrew, Sumerian? I'm not sure about that one. Ethiopic? I'm going to have to do some research on that, but that's up in the air. And Old Phoenician. And then you have some of these individuals from Africa pretending to be the people. You have some different shades of real, quote-unquote, black people. I'm talking about not real dark-skinned people. I'm talking about those who are most likely, close to jet black, dark in their melanation hue. See, all this criminal activity over the years that's been done to the children of Israel, to the Afro-American / Black American that they want to call it these days, the melanated American. Let's make it very clear. All this criminal activity has been done to them. Then putting them in ghettos, putting them around the bed stuff to try to make them destroy themselves. You have these Hamites, these people from, that's right, individuals from other nations that could be dark-skinned, trying to pretend to be the children of Israel. And here's the thing, the cultures, the lifestyles, the manner of people, it's very different. The Father in heaven even made it very known that he said a difference between the Egyptian and Israelite. Exodus chapter 11, verse 7. But among the children of the Israelites, not a dog will bark at any person or animal. Then you will know that Yahweh makes a distinction between Egyptian and Israelite. New Living Translation version compared to the NIV. But among the Israelites, it will be so peaceful that not even a dog will bark. Then you will know that Yahweh makes a distinction between the Egyptians and the Israelites. Exodus chapter 8, verse 23. I will make a distinction between my people and your people. This is a sign. This sign will occur tomorrow. That was when the people were being prepared. And Yahweh did this. Dense swarms of flies poured out into Pharaoh's palace and into the houses of his officials. Throughout Egypt, the land was ruined by the flies. Then Pharaoh summoned Moses and Aaron and said, "Go, sacrifice to your El here in the land." But Moses said, "That would not be right. The sacrifices we offer to Yahweh, our Elohim, would be detestable to the Egyptians. And if we offer sacrifices that are detestable in their eyes, will they not stone us? We must take a 3-day journey into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to Yahweh, our Elohim, as he commanded us." Pharaoh said, I will let you go to offer your sacrifices to Yahweh, your Elohim, in the wilderness, but you must not go very far. Now pray for me." Moses answered, "As soon as I leave you, I'll pray to Yahweh, and tomorrow the flies will leave Pharaoh and his officials and his people. Only let Pharaoh be sure that he does not act deceitful again by not letting the people go offer sacrifices to Yahweh." Then Moses left Pharaoh and prayed to Yahweh. And Yahweh did what Moses asked. And the flies left Pharaoh, his officials, and his people. Not a fly remained. But this time also, Pharaoh hardened his heart and would not let the people go. Then Yahweh said to Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and say to him, this is what Yahweh, the Elohim of the Hebrews, says. Let my people go, so that they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go, and they continue to hold them back, the hand of Yahweh will bring a terrible plague on your livestock in the field, on your horses, donkeys, camels, and your cattle, sheep, and goats. But Yahweh will make a distinction between the livestock of Israel and that of Egypt, so that no animal belonging to the Israelites will die." What's being said here is these criminals today, yesterday, and are going to rise up tomorrow. People are trying to live their lives, trying to keep the faith, trying to grow up, repent of their sins, get through life, potentially, if it's given to them, start a family, raise that family, enjoy the happiness and the joy of having that family. And these criminals out here, even the ones today, they're doing everything they can to frustrate that. They won't let them go. They're over here trying to sit themselves as if they are the authority when they are mere mortal, material men. And you will again see the distinction between the righteous and the wicked, between those who serve Yah and those who do not. Surely the day is coming. It will burn like a furnace. All the arrogant and every evildoer will be stubble. And the day that is coming will set them on fire, says Yahweh Almighty. Not a root or a branch will be left to them. But for you who revere His name, the Sun of Righteousness will shine with healing in its rays, and you will go out and frolic like well-fed calves. Then you will trample on the wicked, and they will be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day when I act, says Yahweh Almighty. Remember the law of my servant Moses, the decree and the laws I gave to him at Horeb for all Israel. See, I will send the prophet Elijah to you before that great and dreadful day of Yahweh comes. He will turn the hearts of the parents to their children, and the hearts of the children to their parents, or else I will come and strike the land with total destruction. These Hamites, these descendants of the children of Ham, those people who come from so-called Africa, as well as these other Canaanites over here in the Americas. Some of them even reside in the islands. Yeah, you have some of the people who are not the people. They don't belong here. They don't want to convert. They definitely have to go one way or another. Either the sheriff the ICE, police, FBI, whoever it may be, has to come and pack him up and put those animals in those cages. Those who do not want to convert and behave as citizens of the kingdom, nor do they want, neither desire the plan of salvation. They do not belong on this sacred land. That's right, America, it was given to the children of Israel. And at the conclusion of this age, it's going to be given back to the children of Israel, to the congregation, those who want to be Israel again, and everyone else who wants to receive, agree, walk in, and continue in the plan of salvation. And at the resurrection, they be counted worthy and justified at the judgment when they are examined, that they may reside in the kingdom not only the 1,000 years accordingly for those, but also in the new heaven, the new earth. And again, these criminals are trying to do everything they can to frustrate that, especially degrading the women. That's going to be covered as well too, because it's the simplicity of the words where a man's supposed to love his neighbor as himself. So if a man can love his sister in the faith as he loves himself, if he can love his wife as he loves himself in the faith, then why say such derogatory, some mean, nasty, and vile things against women, especially against the melanated woman? But Ringo supposedly has love for the melanated woman. Let me tell you real briefly, those women, those melanated women, especially that hair that's like sheep's wool, people don't understand. They don't get it. Let me be fair and balanced here real briefly here, okay? Let me make it very clear. There are women of other nations that have exceptional character, of a honorable character. They want to be Israel too. They want to be as one as born in the land. They want to keep the faith and be righteous too. The Father can work on them and prepare them for a man in the faith as well too. I'm just making it very clear that they can also learn from the daughters of Zion, even the women of Zion. I'm just making it very clear. There's something about that Afro thunder right there. That hair like sheep's wool. Those women have character, especially the righteous ones. People don't know. If you know, you know. Go read the scriptures for yourself, especially the apocryphal books. Those women were legit, especially Judith, Susanna, Esther, Sarah, Abigail, and you have women from other nations in there too who have character as well too. What's it? The woman from Jericho. What else there too? What is their name again? Ruth the Moabite. Yeah, Ruth from another nation. So yeah, in each perspective area, hey, a man's not supposed to go out there and be chasing a woman from another nation that's probably not born again. But if she wants to be born again, cool. And you men, if you shape up, you can get your... That's right, you men who are melanated, if you shape up and you stay legit, you get for real with the Father, take it in prayer, give it some time, Father can give you... That's right, the Father can give you a melanated woman, especially an Israelite woman. You know. That's how it is. The Father can make a way out of no way for the men in the faith. And that's to speak life into your situation, to speak encouragement, because there's all this negativity out here, especially those criminals out there who just, they want to tear down the people so bad, Those criminals are not even, they are just infiltrators. They are wannabes. They are there to kill, steal, and destroy, and do a bunch of crime on behalf of their father, the devil.